If he can play spoiler. See you guys back here in a bit. Right now, send it Mr. Yoo.
Hey guys, Andrew Shrout here on the sideboard. I'm sitting with your 8th seed, Bradley Yoo. How's it going, Bradley?
Hey.
So,
pretty well.
I want to talk about a couple things. We'll talk about your legacy deck first.
Okay.
We'll get the standard later, since we're going to play that today. But we'll talk about your legacy deck first. You played a kind of barely Jeskai deck.
Yeah, it's playing 2 red cards, 1 Lightning Bolt and 1 Sudden Demise.
Okay.
Yeah, and like an extra Sudden Demise on the sideboard and 3 Power Blasts, so it's basically blue-white.
Other than that, yeah, blue-white, kind of a Stoneblade deck, kind of a counterbalance deck.
Yeah, most people actually like, I try to fake as if my deck is Miracles because they see my top, and almost all the time they just assume it's Miracles, but it's not.
Okay, so you posted a 6-2 finish there.
Yep.
Actually 6-2 in both formats,
Yep.
so pretty even keel. Your standard deck, which we'll see this morning, kind of a green-black, See the Unwritten, Constellation, Devotion hybrid.
It's like basically a Redux See the Unwritten deck, hybrid with a green-black Constellation deck.
All right. So your matchup this morning will be against Dylan Donegan, who is playing Jeskai tokens. How do you feel about that matchup?
Not so great.
Not so great?
I do have 6 ways to kind of hit Doomwakes, and that I have 3 Doomwakes and 3 Sea Dominants, which is excellent in the matchup.
Okay.
But even then, like his deck is just a bit faster, and I do have this 9 mana card in the main board, which is kind of dead.
It's a powerful card if you cast it.
It's a powerful card, but Inguruk's Wake is just a dead card.
Sure.
It just looks very silly.
Did you get a chance last night to actually play test the matchup itself with your 75 versus his?
I tested a little bit, but I got pulled into a game of Cards Against Humanity for about 3 hours.
Okay.
With
a little bit of a distraction, I guess.
They were playing in the hotel, so yep.
Sure.
They got me in.
I guess so sometimes you gotta follow your priorities, I suppose. All right. Well, the last question I have for you. If you are to win this tournament, you will get to make a token of your very own with your likeness on it.
Yep.
So what token will you be?
I haven't made up my mind yet between the Elemental token from Young Pyromancer or the Snake token, the enchantment from Farika.
Oh, the Farika token. Okay.
Yeah, Farika token.
All right.
All right.
I like that. Either one of those seem pretty reasonable.
All right.
All right. Thanks for sitting down with me, Bradley. We're going to send it over to 7th seed Philip Braverman in the booth.
Miller on the sideboard along Philip Braverman. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Nick.
Excellent. You're our 7th seed, going into the top 8 here. You played Mardu tokens, an outside-the-box strategy, and then you played your known, tried-and-true Miracles and Legacy. How was the road getting to the top 8?
Well, Legacy was pretty smooth. I knew that I'm pretty proficient with the Miracles deck. That was going to have to pull most of the weight with me, going 7-1 with it. I based my list off of Philip Schrodinger's deck, New Jersey. Made some modifications. I really like Dig Through Time. For Standard, I knew that was going to be the tricky thing. I actually didn't play any sanctioned Standard matches going into the tournament. Not a lot of experience there. Just trusted my friend Wilson Hunter.
Yep. Well, you're here now. You got a matchup with Jim Davis playing blue-white control. What do you think of the matchup here in the quarterfinals?
Game 1, I feel pretty bad about, but post-sideboard, I get to bring in 4 Thoughtseize, which is obviously very good against control.
Okay.
He has a lot of counters, and if he can just answer me and get to his card draw spells, that's going to be very bad for me, but it's going to be a close matchup. We'll see how it goes.
All right. You're in an Invitational top 8. On top of everything else, the $10,000 first prize, you get a token. Have you considered what your token would be if you win?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to make an Angel token and treat the Angels, Miracles, great deck, just can't put it down.
All right. Awesome. Well, good luck in the top 8. I'm going to send it back over to Andrew Shrout, who's with Dan Jessup.
Hey guys, Andrew Shrout here on the sideboard. I'm sitting with your 6th seed, Dan Jessup. How's it going, Dan?
Doing good.
So we're gonna talk about your legacy deck first.
Okay.
So that's what we're not playing this morning.
Yeah.
You played Blue-Red Delver.
Correct.
And is this a deck you have a lot of experience with?
Yeah, I started after the Treasure Cruise phenomenon
Sure.
picked up. I picked it up. I played it in Jersey to a good finish, min cash, but still relatively good.
In a field that big, still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Played it to a 7-1 record.
Correct.
So strong finish there.
Yeah, definitely the reason I'm in the top 8.
And then in standard, a 5-3 record with abs and mid-range.
Yeah.
So tell me a little about how you arrived at that particular build.
Well, I actually had no idea what to play in standard. I didn't want to play whip mirrors all day, and I felt this deck was probably the next best deck. Still had Siege Rhino in it, still has a powerful late game and early game, so.
Okay. All right, so how do you feel about your matchup this morning? You're playing against Sam Black, who is playing red-white tokens.
I feel pretty good. It's a solid matchup, but not great. I mean, obviously Sam's a very good player, so you got to factor that in, but my post board, I feel like the matchup's pretty good.
Okay. Did you get some laps in last night? Did you play test the matchup at all?
Yeah, we got a couple games pre-board and a lot post to make sure.
All right. Well, you're as prepared as you're going to get then, I suppose.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Thanks for no. Well, actually, no. We have one last question.
All right.
It's an important question.
Yeah.
If you win this event, you will get to make a token of your very own with your face on it. So what kind of token are you going to be?
Haven't thought it through a ton, but if I had to lean one way right now, probably the Thopter token.
Okay. One from Thopter Assembly, or one from Thopter Foundry?
Foundry.
It's going to be a blue Thopter.
Yeah, blue
All right,
Thopter.
cool. It's an important distinction. We got to get it right. All right. Well, thanks for sitting down with me, Dan.
All righty, thank you.
Okay. We're going to send it back to the booth where Nick Miller is sitting with your 5th seed, Ryan Fleischer.
Welcome back. I am Nick Miller alongside our 5th seed, Ryan Fleischer. How you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. I would say you're doing pretty well. You're in the top 8 of an Invitational. You've got Abs and Reanimator going for you, and you were one of 3 Storm players in the top 8.
Yeah, there was a lot of Storm. A lot of Storm at the top tables. I played the Mirror twice.
Yeah. Talk about your deck choices for this weekend.
So for Standard, I actually felt less comfortable coming into the Invitational with my Standard choice. I played a lot of blue-white control and a blue-black control online, and I just, like I said in my profile, it was impossible to close out games quickly with Prognostic Sphinx, and Prolic Ancient was just the 7 mana threat that just rotted in your hand when you really needed proactive answers to what people are playing. I just didn't feel comfortable with the deck, and I kept, I didn't feel like the Asban matchup was great for me, so I decided, well, I'll just play some Siege Rhinos, and I picked it up. I mean, I goldfished a couple of games, and I decided, hey, let's run this. It looks good, and it went well.
Very powerful deck.
Yeah.
Just Storm, what you normally play in Legacy?
Yeah, so I've been playing Storm for a while now. I picked it up a couple years ago, played it online. I felt comfortable with it. I was debating between Dredge and Storm, but Dredge there's still too much hate for it, and so I didn't feel comfortable with it. So it's like Storm sounds great. The Cruise decks are playing less permission. I played the Empty the Warrens main over the Ad Nauseam, thinking that if the Delver decks just like you go off with less spells, it's easier to go through Force of Will. And of course, then I just played, I played Sam Black's Ascension deck. I played the Storm Mirror twice. Although I did win a Storm Mirror, playing Empty the Warrens and then flashing back Cabal Ritual and stealing, just tearing apart his hand. So
nice.
Got through that way, but I'm happy to not be playing Legacy in the top 8. I feel better with my Standard choice now.
Our quarterfinal matchup here is you versus Caleb. You're playing the Abs and Reanimator deck, and he's on Blue-White Heroic. Have you tested the matchup much? What do you think?
I did test the matchup. I definitely had less respect for the deck coming into the tournament than I do now. I mean, it can kill out of nowhere, and it's kind of like a Storm deck in its own sense. I'm glad that I'm playing best out of 5 matches. That definitely helps me out. It allows me to take out all my expensive threats and just play a game where I can get one threat down and then just try to force removal through their protection. It doesn't look good for me. I was actually talking with Caleb a bit about it, just in the back there, and he feels a little favored. I feel a little unfavored, but it's definitely like a playable, like a winnable matchup for me. But and there's a lot of play to it. But it'll be a challenge for me.
Well, this is your first Invitational top 8.
Yep.
If you win, you get the prestige, the money, and the token. What would your token be if you take it down?
Oof. Well, I thought a little about this, and somebody posed the idea. I don't know if you guys would be down for it, but like a Storm token. So you had you maybe like a little oversized thing where you had mana Storm counters so people could put dice on them, so you can actually use that, put in play. Okay. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Hey, we got the Infect token.
I'm sure
exactly.
I mean, you guys already went there before, so.
All right, nice. Well, good luck in your top 8 match.
Thank you.
I'm going to send it back over to Andrew Shrout, who's with Caleb Scherer in the sideboard.
Hey guys, Andrew Shrout here in the sideboard, sitting with your 4th seed, Caleb Scherer. How's it going, Caleb?
Hey, pretty good.
So we're gonna talk about your Legacy deck first, since that's what you're not playing this morning. You played Storm. which must have been a very good call this weekend. Because you're one of 3 people in the top 8 playing it. Is that a deck you play a lot?
Yeah, I've basically been playing Storm Mechanic and Eternal since it was printed back with Mind's Desire, so.
that's been a while.
Yeah, it's kind of the best thing ever.
Cool. So a 5-2-1 finish there.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with the 5-2-1. You know, dropped a match day 1 and then to Sam Black, another fast combo deck, which, you know, does happen. But feeling pretty good.
So you're kind of playing like combination-y decks in both formats.
Oh,
actually.
yeah, for sure.
Your standard deck of choice, White-Blue Heroic, is basically the combination of Guy plus Pants.
Yes.
So tell me a little about how you arrived at that deck.
Basically with that deck, I'm usually kind of more on the aggressive end as far as standard. So just kind of bought into it on Moto since I've decided to kind of start grinding that. So I was like, oh, hey, what's kind of a nice intro deck? And then just been playing that for a few weeks and actually, you know, saw that there was a lot of play to it, so it kind of fits my style.
All right.
So
yeah, well, you definitely put up a strong performance with it.
Yes.
7-1 with White-Blue Heroic. Your matchup this morning is against Ryan Flasher playing Abzan Reanimator. How do you feel about that matchup?
I'm feeling pretty good. Definitely game 1, especially being on the play, you know, getting to choose helps a lot. But since we have 4 post-motor games, it's feeling probably like maybe like, you know, slight edge.
Okay.
But there's definitely a lot of play to it, and I'm sure he's tested it quite a bit, so.
All right.
Yeah.
So did you play testing some last night?
Yeah, so last night I tested quite a few post-board games still, so I kind of get an idea of what he's going to be trying to do to me.
All right. Well, you're ready for battle then.
Yep.
Last question. If you win this event, you will get a token of your very own with your face on it.
Yep.
So what token will you be?
I will be a 1/1 Vigilant Cat, Prima's token.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Sure. That was Tom Ross's second choice last time around.
Yep.
So gotta get in ahead of him then.
Oh yeah.
All right, sweet.
Cool.
All right. Thank you for sitting down with me.
Thank you.
All right. And we're gonna send it back to the booth where Nick Miller is sitting with our 3rd seed, Sam Black.
Welcome back. I am Nick Miller alongside our number 3 seed, Sam Black. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Excellent. You're in our top 8 here. You're playing your Worlds deck, red-white tokens. Talk about your deck choices this weekend, your tokens deck and just the Ascendancy deck that just did really well for you this weekend.
Yeah, both of them were strongly informed by Worlds. The red-white deck is just the deck that I was testing at Worlds, and then it's interesting to choose a Legacy deck based on a tournament that doesn't have a Legacy portion. But Josh Arlayton destroyed me in Modern with Jeskai Ascendancy, and then later on we were just talking about it in Legacy, and he was like, yeah, I actually think it's great. We didn't play it at Grand Prix New Jersey because we didn't want to spoil the Modern deck by playing it in Legacy. And so I asked him for his list and tweaked it a bit, and I was very happy with it.
All right. Well, you're playing against the Abzan mid-range deck, correct?
Yeah.
What do you think of your matchup there?
I think that I expect some really interesting games. I think it's a pretty close matchup. I think I'm a little ahead maybe, but we'll see what my opponent decides to do. I think he has a lot of options in how he wants to play the matchup.
Right, the matchup can get very out of control and swingy as any indicator from before. All right, if you win $10,000, an invite to the Players' Championship, a token, what would your token be?
I think I am obligated to choose a token that is in my standard deck, since this is a standard top 8. And Cedric is already a Goblin, and maybe Eric Smith also.
Yep.
So I think it has to be either a soldier or a 3/4 flying bird.
All right.
I'm personally not much of a soldier. I'm not a bird either, but I think I might have to go with the bird.
All right, well, we can make one of them work for sure. Good luck in your quarterfinals. I'm going to send it back over to Andrew Shroud, who's sitting with Jim Davis.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Andrew Strout here in the sideboard. I'm sitting with your 2nd seed, Jim Davis. How's it going, Jim?
Pretty good.
So this is a very good weekend for you.
Yes,
You locked up not just the top 8 of the Invitational, but actually a seat in the Players' Championship.
Right, and coming in I had like a 98% chance to make it, whereas if everything fell wrongly and I did bad and certain people did good, I could have not made it, but I'm very happy to lock it up with conviction.
Cool,
So-
yeah, kept the wheels on. And this is, we see a lot of you on the Open Series. You're certainly one of our prolific grinders. So what is it that you do outside of the grind?
I'm currently teaching right now, and I kind of don't love it. So if you're out there, I want to hire someone in game design, gaming field.
All right, you heard it here
Contact
first.
me.
Jim Davis, a man who is available. All right, cool. Let's talk about your Legacy deck first, since that's the format that you're not playing this morning. You played Storm,
Right.
which is not something that I've seen you play in the past.
Correct, I had never played the deck before. I picked it up about a week ago on Moto because it seemed like it was just really well positioned. It seemed like all the Delver decks and Treasure Cruise decks are trying to beat each other. They're cutting off our Spell Pierces. They're playing Pyroblasts.
Right.
And like they're just really ignoring there's no Wastelands. Like, so I picked it up. It seemed like it'd be good. Played it online. I'm like maybe 20 matches in.
Sure.
And just kind of ran with it.
All right.
I felt like a monkey writing Shakespeare when I was going off every time.
Okay.
But I got through it.
You figured it out.
So
right.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, it seems to have been a very good choice. You're one of 3 Storm players in the top 8.
Yeah, it seemed like it. So.
Yeah. In Standard, you played Blue-White Control, which is something that you've been championing all season. So tell me a little about your current iteration of that deck.
So the deck really hasn't changed, and I kind of wasn't happy with that coming into the tournament where like I've been playing the same list for like 2 months, and usually feel like you would get better, you would work on some stuff, but I've just been winning. I've won a few IQs with it, and it seemed like I was very comfortable with it, and then it seemed very, very well positioned for this tournament.
All right.
Everyone's trying to out mid-range and whip each other.
Sure.
And I'm just playing counter spells, so they're playing all their 5-mana spells, and it's just very easy to counter them efficiently.
Yeah.
So the deck's pretty good. It definitely is not as powerful as the old one was with Sphinx's Revelation. There's no card where you're just going to get back in the game. You really have to play almost perfectly at every step of the way, because one mistake you'll fall behind horribly.
Sure.
But the deck's pretty good.
Okay. So you went 7-1 with that deck, and
5-1 with the bias.
sure. All right.
Yeah,
Okay. So yeah, X and 1, we'll say.
Sure.
And it seems like you were mostly preying on the whip decks. Well, you're not up against a whip deck in the quarterfinals. You're up against Philip Braverman's Mardu tokens.
But same thing basically applies because he's also trying to kind of out-whip the whip decks with his Doomwake Giants for their Hornet Queens. He has Wingmate Rock, which is good against them, but he has no Sarkins and Stormbrass, which are the cards that I'm scared of.
Okay.
So I feel pretty good about the matchup.
All right. So. Yeah, you sound pretty familiar with his list. So I guess you play tested the matchup a good amount last night or so.
Over it last night,
Okay.
So.
All right. So some theoretical play testing then.
Yeah, we're not.
Sure.
Had a good time, but.
All right. Fair enough. So last question, and it is an important question. If you win this event, you will have a token of your very own with your face on it.
So yeah, I'm fortunate to be one of the last interviews. My buddy Dan, who also top 8, congrats to him, was like, man, I couldn't think of a token. So I had a solid 1.5 minute cram session of what token I would want. Like, I have a few good ones. I was thinking Master of Waves. Doesn't see much play, but it's a pretty cool one. And the artists are really good. I'm sure it would look really cool, like riding the wave or whatever. Or we could do Hornet Queen. Okay. That's a good one too.
Well, then you got to look like an insect.
I figured you'd be riding the bee probably.
Okay.
Which would be pretty cool.
Fair enough.
Riding the bee.
Sure.
But
all right.
yeah, so either a bee token or a Master of Waves token sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, either one seems legit. All right. Cool. Well, thanks for sitting down with me, Jim.
No problem.
All right. We're going to send it back to the booth where Nick Miller is sitting with your first seed, Dylan Donegan.
Hey guys, welcome back. Nick Miller alongside our #1 seed, Dylan Donegan. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. You have made quite the trek out here in the hunt for the Players' Championship. You need a top 4 finish. You got to the top 8. How are you feeling going into this match?
Not gonna lie, I'm pretty nervous. Probably like the most important match I've ever played in my life. I feel good, feeling confident. I like my standard deck. I'm just gonna try my best. Hopefully, I make Players' Championship.
All right. Well, you've played the Jeskai Tokens deck and Blue-Red Delver and Legacy. How'd you come to those conclusions for those 2 decks?
I'll start with Legacy since that's not what we're playing. I've played Delver for like as long as I've played Legacy, 2-3 years, and definitely just wanted to play the best version of the best Delver deck, and I thought that was Blue-Red with the sideboard therapies to help out the combo matchup. Like Owen Turnwald suggested at Grand Prix New Jersey, so I thought that deck was great. Standard, didn't really know what to play coming into the week, but I was very impressed with Yu Watanabe's deck from Worlds, and it's definitely up my play style, so thought it was a great choice. Still think so, too.
All right, your quarterfinal matchup is against Bradley Yoo. You're playing the Jeskai Tokens deck. He's playing the Green-Black Constellation. What do you think of the matchup?
I play tested a little bit of that matchup, actually. I was considering Green-Black Constellation for this tournament. I play tested that matchup a little bit with my buddy Chris Baker back home. We felt it was pretty 50-50. I like my sideboard options. Hushman Griff is going to be hopefully really good. I played that card specifically for like that deck and the Obzen Whip decks and stuff. So I think pre-board it's probably not in my favor, but post-board I like my chances.
All right, well the pressure's on. You flew in Friday, skipping school. You got exams Monday. Mama Donegan watching from home. What do you have to say to her here?
Thanks for letting me go to this tournament. I'd say it worked out okay.
All right, you have one last question here. If you manage to win the event, $10,000, the invite to the Players' Championship, which you can get with just a win, but you know, someone else would thank you for winning to open up another spot. And the token. What would your token be if you take it down?
I said Goblin yesterday, so I've changed my mind.
Okay.
Young Pyromancer did a lot of work for me yesterday. And I think it'd be sweet to see a bunch of young Pyromancers get to attack with those in Modern and Legacy. So definitely a young Pyromancer token.
All right, Dylan, well, thanks for sitting down with me. Good luck in your quarterfinal matchup. This was the last of our top 8 interviews. We're going to shoot it to a deck tech with myself and Sam Black about his red-white tokens deck. And then after the short break, we'll be back with the top 8. Stay tuned to SCG Live for all the action.